Hi, a few days ago, or maybe about a week or two ago at this point, I'm very bad at keeping track of time these days. We received an email from Columbia with all of the things that we have to get done before the program begins. So this is our new student portal, and it gives us all of this information and a huge checklist of all the things that we need to get done and the dates by which we need to get them done. So today's April 1st, and today is actually the priority deadline for on-campus housing. I applied maybe a week and a half ago at this point, so here's to hoping that I was early enough to be one of the lucky people who might get some housing. I went back and forth on what to do in terms of housing, whether I wanted to live on campus or find a sublease. Because I think my tentative plan is to go away the whole time that we have off from school between semesters. And so I was wondering if it would be best to get a sublease for the amount of time that the semester would be and then find another one for the next semester. But I think that would be a little bit stressful, and I guess at the end of the day, paying for the extra couple of weeks or month, depending on the semesters, is fine. So I decided I would apply for Columbia housing, but continue looking at subleases. It also is very limited, so it's hard to know whether I would even get Columbia housing or not. International students are usually given priority, and then after international students, it usually goes by distance. Like starting in LA would be more priority versus someone who's from Boston or something. So cost for applying for university housing, whether you get it or not, is $30, and it is not refundable. We have to submit official transcripts by May 28th. I had a little bit of a freak out yesterday thinking it was supposed to be March 28th. I misread it, and I emailed them like, I'm so sorry, is it okay? I just put the request in, it'll take about a week to process. And they're like, yeah, no worries, you have until the 28th of May. And I was like, oh. And then for the cost of the transcript, I was charged $8, but I guess it depends on whatever platform the university uses. My old university used a platform that I can't remember the name of, but it was all in all $8 to have it sent directly to Columbia. I need to register with the Office of Disability by April 2025. I actually am not sure what this looks like for me because I did prerequisites with Columbia and I got disability accommodations. I'm not sure if I have to reapply or if it's all taken care of from the 2 previous semesters that I was there. Okay, then we have to activate our student uni. I already have that from prereq, so that makes it easier. I do have to review these nursing policies, procedures, and guidelines. So essential qualifications for students, all of the different things required, code of ethics and professional behavior, academic and professional standards, and there's more policies and procedures here. Okay, so the deadline to order uniforms is Friday, April 4th. That's coming up really soon. And they give you some reference here for sizing. So it is mandatory to get 2 sets of uniforms, like as a minimum. And this is the option for the shirt. And this has a cost of almost $40. And then these are our jogger pants, which cost $30. There is also drawstring, but they said that whatever is available is the last of it. They won't restock that. I don't really like them. I'm not sure if I should order them just in case, but these are $26.98. It seems like the regular pant is $23.98. The petite is $26.98 and the tall is $29.98. There's also a long sleeve scrub, which I'm undecided as to whether or not I like it. This one is $42.98. So depending on if you only get the shirts or if you decide to add in the jacket, and depending what pants you decide to get, the price will vary a little bit, but it roughly comes out to about $130 to $140 or $50. I'll also need all white shoes without a visible logo, and these are some of the recommended ones. Then another deadline is completing the Respirator screening questionnaire. I'm not even fully sure what that is, but I guess once I do it, I'll know. We have to activate our email account, which I already have because of Open, so that's nice and easy. We have to complete recommendation letter data release. Okay, so this is for our letters of recommendation. I think the recommender is the one that's supposed to do this. So if your recommender gets chosen to do an additional screening to verify that it's legit, I think they have to complete this form. And then by the end of the month, we have to complete the student health pre-registration requirements for clinical standards. So these are the clinical program requirements. We have to have a physical, we have to have all our immunization records. So in these next coming weeks, I have to get all of these different shots. I'm not sure what I have and don't have, so I'm going to have to get some blood work done to figure out what I have antibodies for, and then get the appropriate vaccines. Then in May, we have a ton of things to do, as you can see here. So we have to create a Castle Branch account. This is what Columbia uses to do background checks. So here the total cost is $200.99. Then we'll also have to order all of our equipment necessary for the program. So we'll need a stethoscope, a watch that has a second hand, a reflex hammer, tuning forks of both frequencies, 128 and 512 hertz, a pen light, taper ruler marked in centimeters, nurses use centimeters, not inches, and bandage scissors, which I didn't even know about that one, so that's interesting. So this is nice. They give you a link to do some shopping at the place that they recommend. So here we have stethoscopes, which range from about $300 to $190 about. There are also some more affordable options at about $95. A bandage scissor is $5. A pen light is $5-ish. They sell student watches for $12. A tuning fork, $9, $10-ish. A reflex hammer is about $3. A tape measure is $4. So all in all, I'll do the math and put it on the screen. Okay, then we'll have to upload our photo for our student ID card. Then we'll do a mandatory online orientation. We also need to complete a BLS/CPR certification by May 23rd. We also have to do infection control and child abuse trainings. We have to do a quiz on plagiarism. And then the 28th through the 30th, we have mandatory in-person orientation. Also in May, we have to do a mandatory preclinical drug testing, and we'll get more information, I guess, in the coming weeks about that. Additionally, we have to register for Kaplan and take a test either on June 4th or June 5th, and this total cost will be $50. So apparently this tests high school level knowledge, but there's not much more information on that. I will probably read it a little bit more in depth and do some digging around to figure out what this is all about. It has 91 questions and we'll have 2 hours and 44 minutes to complete it. And then last but not least, Sunday, June 1st, we have to submit a predictable absence form to MDE program office. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently if you know that you'll miss class on a certain day, then you have to submit all of that in advance because the content is so compressed. When I click on Master's Direct Entry Program information, it gives me some expectations and uniform policy. And then at the bottom, it says something really interesting about basic medical terminology background. All students should plan to begin the Master's Direct Entry Program with a basic medical terminology background. If a student does not have a medical terminology background, it is strongly suggested to enroll in a course prior to attending. There are free or low-cost courses and other resources available to meet your needs. Columbia School of Nursing does not recommend specific courses. So if that were something that you were interested in doing and found a course, that would obviously have an additional cost.
Are you ready to learn medical terminology? The answer should be yes.
So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so this is all financial aid information. I actually haven't received my package yet. For some reason, FAFSA or Columbia, one of the two, couldn't verify my citizenship status, which is really weird. And so I have to go in person and provide proof of citizenship, like a passport or a birth certificate, in order for them to process my financial aid package. So I still don't have it, even though students got it like a month ago at this point. So I don't know how much of the financial aid stuff I can do now before receiving my actual package. I was going to fly to New York just to get this out of the way and under control, but I was assured by the financial aid office that it would be okay if I showed up at the time that I plan on showing up, sometime in mid-May around, that they would process it and that everything would be okay, but it does make me just a little concerned. And then these are some student support services. So we have new student resources, applying for disability services, academic support, so study spaces, the library, academic coaching, international student resources, Office of Student Affairs, so student life, student support, student services, university life, and getting to know your campus, so public safety and smoke-free center. Then we have accepted student webinars and events. So this month there will be 2 Q&A sessions with MDE staff, so that'll be really cool. I actually already registered for these, so I'm definitely looking forward to attending and learning a little bit more about the program from the staff members there. And I think that wraps this up. I just wanted to kind of show all the things that you have to do, all the steps required before starting. I wish it were as simple as submitting an application, being accepted, and then starting, but there are several steps and there are additional costs implied with some of the additional steps. I'm going to do an average range of all the prices that I listed, and here will be the breakdown of that. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.